Welcome to the NS9 Postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm Ryan. With me is Neil, and the Pirates lose 3-0, Neil, in San Diego for their 9th straight loss. So, welcome.
Yeah. At least we didn't lose by 1 run this time.
Yeah. I'm struggling, Neil, to come up with things to even say on this game. Definitely not many positive things, obviously.
No.
But hey, they out-hit the Padres.
Hey, that's something.
I mean, what else are we gonna do? I mean, it's just bad. It's bad all around. We'll get into it. But first, let me tell everyone about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from UFC to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack, poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. BetOnline, the game starts here. I don't know if you saw the graphic NS9 account sent out today, Neil, but if you had bet $100 on the Pirates' first loss against the Diamondbacks, and you just took the winnings and just kept dumping it on the Pirates' opponent money line, going into tonight, you would have been up about $6,300, I think it was. So with tonight, you would have bet all that again. You'd be, I think the Padres are minus 200, so you'd be up almost like 10 grand.
Okay.
So that'd be one silver lining thing. You just bet against the Pirates at this point.
If I was a betting man, I'd bet against the Pirates.
Yes. Yes. You got to lay some odds at this point because the money lines are getting up there. But I mean, when does this team win again? I mean,
it'll happen soon, I think. Just because teams just don't lose games like this for very long, even bad teams. So it will happen soon, but I mean, it's too late.
Well, what's your definition of a bad team, Neil? Because Derek Shelton said it's just a bunch of bad breaks, one run ball games.
Yeah, I mean there have been a lot of bad breaks, but man, good teams don't do this.
No,
good teams don't drop 9 games in a row, especially after you bought at the deadline.
Right, you bought at the deadline, and then everything just fell apart. You haven't won pretty much since.
No, and
that was Cody that came up with that graphic, by the way. Good job, Cody.
That's Cody. Cody does so much that people don't see. Shout out to Cody.
Cody is right.
Cody puts in the hard work and does all the right things, unlike the Pirates.
Yeah, but you mentioned the Pirates bought at the deadline. We're talking. Hey, they're only 6 out of the. I mean, I were legitimately forget the wild card. We're only 6 behind the Brewers for first place.
I think we were saying that I think we were the post game of the last Pirates win. I think that's exactly what we were talking about.
Right. And now, fast forward a week and a half pretty much. And now we're over here what's our lottery odds? At this point, you keep losing out. You're going to be in the thick of things for a top 5 pick again.
I mean, man, yeah. I mean, it's surreal to think about. All these good vibes. You're 3 games over 500. You bought at the deadline. You're trying to win a division. You're trying to qualify for a wild card spot. And now all of that is completely unattainable. I think our playoff odds dipped under 1% today with this loss. I'm sure Jim will have a graphic up tomorrow on Twitter. But I mean, this is bad.
Don't get me started on Jim. Bad. Jim goes to the West Coast to watch some baseball, and he hasn't seen a win. So,
I don't even know if I can blame the Rosati curse this time though. Like the Pirates were losing before Jim went out to the West Coast, so like, I don't think this is Rosati curse.
I don't know. I don't know what it is anymore. It's just I'm at the point I'm not even angry. I'm just like no feel. There's no feeling. I'm just it's just I just kind of want to see how bad it gets. And you mentioned just before we started, like, we talked about, hey, Shelton needs to go, or Haynes needs to go. But like legitimately now, like, you have a 9-game losing streak. Right now, you just bought your GM went out and bought for, say what you will with who they picked up, but they did technically buy at the deadline. You added to the team. There were supposed to be upgrades. One of them is, the other one not so much.
No.
But you bought at the deadline, and now you're on a 9-game losing streak. Like, this is the losing streak that will get people fired. You would think. You would think. So we'll see.
If they don't even match last year's win total, I don't know how people keep their jobs. I legitimately don't, because like, you can say luck, or like, you lost a bunch of one-run games, like, we're so close, but this is unacceptable. And I mean, tonight you get a fine 5 innings from Luis Ortiz, who's your 5th starter. Like, I think Luis Ortiz has been more than you could have hoped for, especially after watching him last year. And then you go hitless with runners in scoring position. We're 1 for 17 in our last 2 games in runners in scoring position. Like, this team is allergic to winning right now. Because
no, go ahead.
No, I was like, this is like, this team cannot buy runs when it needs to. And when they do buy runs, the bullpen gives it up. But of course, tonight the bullpen is relatively fine, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, once again, like Luis Ortiz, which he's kind of developing like a first inning problem. But he settled down. He only gave up 1 run. They got the double play. Bay had to forget about what he did at the plate, but he had a really good play in that first inning, really good catch in center, and then they got the double play to get out of that. So 1 run scores, and then Ortiz, he guts it out, gets 5. It's kind of what we've been seeing from him lately. And like, even the game that he gave up for those 3 home runs in a row in that first inning, like, he still got I think he got through 5 or 6 in that game. So like, he wasn't why you lost tonight. I mean, once again, another starting pitcher gave the Pirates a chance to win tonight. So that wasn't the problem. But you mentioned the offense. How about this, Neil? 15 strikeouts, 0 walks for the Pirates batters tonight.
15. I mean, Michael King's a bad matchup for this team, because he's a strikeout heavy guy. The Pirates are a strikeout heavy team. I was kind of dreading watching him, and man, they had no answer. I mean, you're talking O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds are the only 2 people who didn't strike out twice. Everyone else struck out at least 2 times.
Awful.
Wow.
Awful.
Yeah, and like, and O'Neal Cruz probably has one of the higher strikeout rates on the team, and even he only got 1. But like, the rest of this team is so completely lifeless. I don't care that they got 9 hits. There was never a point in this game where I thought they were going to score. Even with the 7 at-bats with runners in scoring position, they didn't. They looked lifeless.
Yeah, I mean, 15 strikeouts and then you don't walk once. I mean, that's a brutal ratio. It's a brutal ratio. And you mentioned it, Michael King, he is a bad matchup for the Pirates. He really had a rhythm going. Like, he was just, like you mentioned, he was getting up singles, but even when they had 2 guys on this, you knew nobody was coming up with a big hit. It was either, if they weren't singling, they were striking out. And I think he had like 9 strikeouts through 4. He finished with 10. Obviously, he went 6 shutout innings, 7 hits, all singles. We didn't have a double till late. It's just not good enough. I mean, that's what we've seen from this offense. If they're not homering, they're hitting singles, but it's usually not enough they're not stringing 3 or 4 together to get runs in.
It's very reminiscent of the early season where everyone was like, "Oh, they get so many runners on base. This is fine. It'll even out." But no, like they don't drive runs in. I don't know why they don't or why they can't hit runners in scoring position, but it's been a problem all year.
Yeah.
Like unless your name is like Joey Bart, O'Neal Cruz, or Brian Reynolds, like you haven't been hitting with runners in scoring position.
Yeah. Those are the three. I mean, those are the three right now. You know, Reynolds had 3 hits tonight. He was the only one that didn't strike out, like you mentioned. And then everybody else, it was all singles. Pretty, Reynolds had the one double late. But yeah, it's just, and then, and then let's throw in the errors. Like the Pirates are just dropping balls, bobbling stuff, throwing it all around. Like it's just, they had 2 errors tonight. Cruz, error in the first cost them a run. Cruz was getting beat up on Twitter and in the announce booth. Greg Brown was not excited about.
It was interesting
Cruz.
how like Cruz is getting beat up for that, while Rowdy Tellez doesn't even jog it out. It could have gotten a double, just jogs in the first, and not a word is said.
Right.
But I mean, I wish
they have their favoritisms. That's for sure.
I wish I could even care.
Yeah,
I wish I could about the errors but it doesn't matter. Like we didn't score a run today. So like you're gonna say, oh yeah, Cruz cost the team the run, which he did. He cost the team the run. I don't really blame him for the one in the 9th. I think that was just I think that was just like a ground ball hit really far away from him. But like like it doesn't matter when you don't score any runs, and the Pirates scored 0 tonight.
Yeah, it's his 23rd error. I don't know. I don't know where you go from here with Cruz. You keep him at short next year. I mean, with the bat, you say, well, we can live with the errors and everything, but I mean, yeah, it just, I just hope, it's like I said this the other day, it's his first full season in the majors, basically. Hopefully he, it's just a maturing thing and kind of getting his head more in the game. And, with that double play ball, like what he was thinking about throwing it the first, like he was thinking about getting 2 before he even had the ball. So that's, I mean, it was pretty clear what happened there, but you have to make that play. And then Daylor Cruz, I mean, just bobbling stuff around all day, pretty much in his short Pirate career. Like that's the other thing too. Like your 8-9 hitters, Daylor Cruz and Bay came up late with, a guy in scoring position. It's just, you just got no shot. Like Daylor Cruz has been terrible. Bay is terrible. Both struck out twice tonight. Daylor Cruz makes the error. It's just, God, there's so many holes in this lineup. Bay did have 2 good plays in the outfield, which was nice. But yeah, besides that, like they're awful at the plate.
I mean, Daylor Cruz is just a bad play baseball player. He doesn't do anything well, and it just frustrates me that like this was our big guy. This was our big get. Like all you had to do was like go to Fangraphs and like look at the player and see, oh hey, this guy's not a good hitter. I don't like he doesn't field well. Like it really, and I've said it before, like it really just feels like we traded for Edward Olivares again.
Yeah, 2.0.
Yeah, like Edward Olivares 2.0. And I said it before we even traded for him, but I didn't think it would be this bad. I mean, he's still slugging like 125. He's slugging. It is impressive how bad he has been. I think he's like 4 for 40 as a Pirate now.
Something, yeah.
He has 3 home runs since July 1st. That's your big power guy. That's your big bat.
And that's the thing. I mean, we've talked about at the deadline. It was. You're like, was it an upgrade over Sawinski? Sure, but you still you waited forever to make a move. You pretty much got what was left. And went and got Daylor Cruz. And like I said, you gave up this prospect. I don't care about the prospects at this point. Like trade. I wanted to make a bigger splash than this. Obviously, I think a lot of fans did. That's when I said, "Hey, go get Rooker," and people are like, "Oh, his defense and right." Like, who cares? Daylor Cruz's defense stinks and right too. So what's the point? Who cares at this point? At least you have somebody that can hit the ball over the fence. But I get it. Rooker didn't get traded, but Jazz did. Jesse Winker got traded. It's just there was other guys that you could have went and got. They waited to the last minute. They get Daylor Cruz. You just went with the most underwhelming pickup at the deadline. And he comes to Pittsburgh and, of course, immediately doesn't have any of that power, the 18 home runs that he has on the year. You're like, it's kind of like a Michael Wade Taylor thing. You're like, how did this guy hit 20-some home runs last year? Because he doesn't look like he's going to do it here. I don't know if Daylor Cruz is going to hit one this year with the Pirates. So that's where we're at.
He's officially 6 for 43. Or sorry, 6 for 42.
So a little better than 4 for 40, but not very much.
Yeah, not much better.
Here you go. Billy Cook had a grand slam tonight at Indy.
Yeah, and that's a good comment from Mike, just because at this point, I just want to see the two other guys we got at the deadline. The season's over. Like you were not coming back from this barring some miracle run, like literally straight out of a movie type of run. And I don't think the team's good enough for that. I don't think you're just not going to get that. So you might as well just let Billy Cook and Nick York play every day, rest of the season. Like, let them come up, give them the time to get, just give them the time, let them see how they do, get them a couple hundred at bats before the end of the season and see what you have, because there's no point in persisting with G1 Bay. There's no point in persisting with Jared Triolo or Connor Joe or whoever is in the way of them getting playing time, because those guys aren't part of your future. They are bad. We know
they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be a part of your present.
We know that this team, these guys, are just not going to get us where we want to go. There's enough sample size, so please just get Cook and York up, who are actually hitting in AAA. I don't even think they're going to be that great, but I'd rather see them. I'd rather see some promising guys who can maybe make an impact.
Right. Yeah, because I'm with you. And a lot of people in the comments here that I just showed, they're saying call up Cook and York too. And it's like, yeah, just, you have a month and a half left in the season, call them up, give them a chance. And like you said, you see what you got. Maybe they get 100 at bats and you can kind of get an idea if they can be in the plans for next year. If you if you don't call them up at all, and then you go into next year, the whole offseason, you don't really know, hey, can these guys do it in the majors? Same thing with Ashcraft. Someone said here, Steel City DW said call up Chandler and Ashcraft and get him relief opportunities. I don't know about Bubba. I think if the Pirates were actually still in contention, that would be a possibility. But at this point, yeah, Ashcraft, get him up here. Cook, York, I'm all for it, because this season's cooked. They're cooked. So call these guys up.
March right too. Call up Henry Davis. Get rid of Josh Grandal.
Let's see Henry Davis one more time.
Yeah, give me the youth movement for the rest of the season. I mean, I wouldn't call up Chandler. He's really young. He's 22 still. I think he's 22, and he just got the AAA. Pitchers need time to develop. Pitchers need time to work things out. I don't want to see Bubba Chandler this year. I don't think there's a big point to it. But yeah, I think Ashcraft would be in the bullpen would be cool. I don't know who he replaces. I don't even want to think about our bullpen right now. But right. I mean, give him his cup of coffee, see what he has, because I think he would be able to close some games out better than our current options.
Yeah, because that's the thing. At this point, this team's not even we've watched Pirate baseball our whole lives, and we've seen a lot of bad baseball. As long as I'm being entertained, same thing with the Steelers football. If the Steelers are, even if they're not good or they're not going to be in the going for a Super Bowl this year or last year or whatever. Like, it's still, as long as they're entertaining, they're in the games. The Pirates are, I don't know, in these games, but they're like zero entertainment. This team is not fun right now. They're like you said, they're lifeless at the plate. They're making errors, wasting good pitching performances, and that's not fun. So, like, if you're not even a fun team or you're not even entertaining to watch, like, a lot of people are tuning out. And I've seen a lot of people say they didn't watch this week. And I can't say I watched all the games in LA just because you start, what it's going to be. And they're just not entertaining right now. And that's,
I was going through a move and I had stuff to do, but this is the first Pirates game I've watched since the road trip started. Because even when I'm busy, I still try to make a point to try to watch the Pirates, but I had no desire.
I think that's a lot of people are going through right now, unless you're nuts like Jim and you go to the West Coast.
I mean, I would go see the Pirates at Petco. I've never been to Petco. I'm trying to go to all the stadiums. But man, like it is boring. Like at least when we were playing the Padres, on the East Coast and the Diamondbacks and PNC Park, those games were entertaining. Those games were pretty cool. These games are terrible. These games are so much.
They really are.
Like I was struggling to pay attention today because the Pirates were doing nothing of note.
No, like I said, and it was a 1-run game for most of it. One run, two, and it's like you just know they're not winning. Like, it's just that's where we're at. It's awful. Yeah. So, like I said, call some of these. Call Cook, York, if you want Ashcraft up in the bullpen. Like, I'm all for that. Let's get some fresh blood in here, mix things up a bit. Maybe somebody gets hot and you get off this losing streak. But yeah, so the only other thing, Neil, I don't know if you wanted to talk about anything else tonight. The only other thing I wanted to mention about this game, is Ben Heller a dude?
No.
Or is it just he's pitching in, meaningless baseball and because, the Padres lineup the Padres got a great lineup. Like, this isn't the the Cubs lineup or whatever out there. Like, the Padres, the Dodgers, they're really good lineups. But yeah, Heller, 2 scoreless tonight. He had 2 scoreless against the Dodgers, 4 strikeouts. Yeah, he's like the only positive from tonight that I took out of this.
Yeah, Reynolds was a positive, but I mean, yeah, he looked good. Second time in a row he's looked good, but I don't know. I'm traumatized from those first 2 starts. I'm not willing to call him a dude yet. And I think
maybe he just needed to pitch on the road. Maybe it was a PNC Park thing.
Pitching in PNC Park was too hard. You can't you can't handle that terrifying environment.
Yeah, something like that big crowds we had out before they came here. Yeah, I don't know, just something, that was really the only thing. Like you said, Ortiz got out 5. Heller came in after him. 2 scoreless.
Offense is dead. We knew that. The team's bad. We knew that. But I think that we still have a good rotation option in Ortiz, even if he has a pretty big home run problem that I don't think you can ignore. I think as a back end starter, I think he's pretty solid. Reynolds is still good. Ben Heller had a good day, but man, this is bleak. This is bleak, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's where we're at. Yes, ERA 16.5. I get it, Buck and Mike. I know his ERA is bad. He had 2 really bad outings, and now he's had 2 really good. So, so yeah, I'm out of stuff for this game, Neil. I'm out of stuff for this team. They are just not entertaining, and we stink.
It's a shame, but yeah, we are out of playoff watch, and like I think you said, we're out of playoff watch and into lottery odds watch.
I mean, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm over here figuring out if we lose out, do we catch the White Sox in wins and losses?
I don't think we're
like. I don't even know if we do catch them. That's
the White Sox walked out of the top. The White Sox can only pick 10th.
Oh, that's right.
The A's and the White Sox are locked out. So I think we're at like 8th best lottery odds now. So
yeah, let's go. So at this point, just lose out.
The Ben Sherrington World Series is in full effect.
Yeah. Let's just lose out, and we'll get a better pick. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we're at. We went from buyers to, hey, what's our lottery odds? Well, let's lose out. But that's all I got, guys. Yeah, the Buccos covered 3.5. That's good stuff.
If we don't win tomorrow, I mean, it's Keller versus Martin Perez. You really hope that you win that.
You know we're not. Martin Perez is going to come out and pitch a gem. We'll be 10 strikeouts. Who knows what?
Yeah, no, and I'll have to talk about it tomorrow too.
Oh, all right? So you're on the post game tomorrow?
I'm on the post game tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. It's getaway day, but it's like a 4:10 start here.
It's a weird 4:10 start. I don't really get it. But yeah, me and Tyler will be on tomorrow.
There you go. Could be 10 losses in a row, so stay tuned for that. But
people are starving.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in and watching this. It's 12:45 a.m. and
it's bedtime.
Yeah, this sucks. The Pirates lost 9 in a row, shut out tonight, 3-0. So let's get out of here. See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.